Hello and welcome to Mercer County Park for Krampus 4. We are here looking at the Final 9 Safari layout. Those who were able to escape Krampus on the first 20 holes are now able to have the chance to defeat him on these final 9 Safari layout holes. And our challengers today are Zachary, Tesone, Bo Lee, both locals to the area. New to the card, Timur Savin from East Brunswick, New Jersey. Kenneth Wilson narrowly sneaked back onto the card. And we had a tie for 4th place, so Kim A. Cass from Brooklyn, New York will be our 5th player. Starting off on hole 1, we are playing from 13 short tee pad to 12 short basket. A lot of these holes in the Safari layout are going to be playing kind of backwards around the course, if you're familiar with it. Krampus played a little trick on us. Every hole was listed as 666 feet. Little ode to his evilness, but the bright side is that every hole is a par 4 on this final 9, so this hole coming in at probably 230 feet-ish. As we saw Zach go a little bit long, and Bo will have an inside the circle look for an eagle. And folks, let me tell you, this first couple holes are pretty easy, especially with par 4, but it will get evil. You can see the out of bounds flags right by the basket. As long as you stay clear of that, this one is pretty easy. So Timur was pretty much parked, so he'll be likely starting off with that eagle. Ken with a good hyzer shot, a little bit outside. We'll have to see if he wants to run it or not. Going right towards that out of bounds line. And last but not least, we have Kim. A little bit wider, but again, par 4, so easy up and down if you just want to get your birdie. Zach had a good angle to actually run it here with a hyzer. Should be finishing away from the out of bounds. Oh, hits the top number plate, just barely stays in bounds. A little bit too high, but pretty good otherwise. Kim smartly laying up. Ken looked like his body didn't quite let him run that. Looked like he was trying to. Oh, Bo catching just enough chains to maybe avoid going out of bounds. And there it is. First eagle on the card, bringing Timur back to even. So with this crazy layout, obviously Zach has a 5-stroke lead, but really with the crazy pars and crazy course, anything can really happen, so we'll see. So these guys are all going to be tapping in their birdies, and we have something we've probably never seen on this channel, a 5-person better than star frame. The card shooting 6 down between the 5 of them. As we go over to hole 2, we're going to be taking a look at it from the sky here. The far left of your screen, we see 12 short tee pad playing big hyzer around to 10's short basket. And again, that very close hazard line right to the basket. So you definitely have to throw a hyzer, maybe a forehand turnover if that is your preferred line. And pretty blind. This tee pad is not designed to go that way. And Timur with a great shot. He may be starting with back-to-back eagles. Take a look at the line that they're looking at. Zach throwing nice and wide. Needs to come back a little bit. Just played it safe. That works, avoiding the hazard line. Bo giving it a little bit more height, giving it time to come back. And pretty good. Stops just short. He'll have a decision to make with the line on the left side of the basket. Any errant putts may trickle over that. Ken with a nice shot. Again, pretty safe. You don't want to test it too much. Timur was actually playing a little bit dangerous. Probably closer to the basket than he intended. And this doesn't look wide enough. Yeah, so that's going to be the hazard. Kim, the first victim of Krampus here on the final 9 holes. And he will be able to get up and down for the par there. Nice straddle, kind of patent pending around the tree. Bo, ooh. Made a right decision, giving it the Annie putt, but didn't give it enough and almost goes out of bounds. Very similar to where we saw Zach land on the front 9. The front 10, excuse me, of the first round. Just barely in bounds, but we'll be able to tap it in from there. And here's Timur to go back-to-back eagles. Oh, and barely has it stay in. 4 down through 2 holes, going from +2 to -2. That's the way you want to start it. That is a pace that it's going to take to catch Zach. He's under the basket for a birdie as well, so if he's getting birdies, you got to be getting eagles. It's the only way. Kim able to save the par, and everybody else will be tapping out their birdies.
Yeah, I don't think he actually thinks about setting pars for this back 9.
As we head over to hole 3, playing from 10's short tee pad, mandatory to the left of these sets of trees, playing through the field, past 9's short tee pad, around the corner, all the way back to 8's long pin. So this one, the first kind of true par 4, definitely 2 shots, and even with that, 2 very specific shots. Let's see how these guys play it. Timur likely ending his eagle streak, catching stuff on the left side. Zach barely sneaking through. Ooh, a little cut roller. Oh, that's going far right. Honestly, not too bad. Getting further right will open up his second shot. Again, you can't really get it right under the pin because it is a meat hook right at the end of it. So you kind of just need to get through that gap that we saw on the drone, and then hopefully have a putt back for your birdie. Ken just kind of clearing the trees. He'll have a long second look at it. Oh, Bo going real high. Forehand turnover. Crashing into the woods, but pretty far up there. Definitely the furthest of the group so far. We'll have to see what he's looking at once we get up there. And nice backhand shot. Nice and easy for Kim. So Timur only kind of made it up near the long tee pad for 10. But great second shot. He may be able to still get a birdie from there after not progressing much at all after the first shot. Ken stalled it pretty high, trying to get over everything on the rough on the left side. Tombstone down. Zach maybe a little too tight, trying to cut the corner, but we'll have a birdie look from there. And Kim getting onto the green, second shot. Very nice. So here's Bo in the woods. Not throwing it very hard. Oh, right next to the basket. Lands so cleanly, kind of rolls away, but that was actually a great first shot in terms of distance, giving himself that opportunity, and now he'll have a birdie look. Ooh, very close for Ken. And here's Timur for his birdie. Ooh, a little left. Came a little further back than it looked at first. It just comes up a little bit low. This is definitely the hardest hole we've played so far on this final 9. And it's looking like a par is going to be it. And this is, I don't know if we mentioned it in the first round, this is the entire MPO field of what was left, because after the cut it was only going to be top 40 or 50%, which was going to wind up being 4 players, but tie for 4th gives us 5, and this is it. So let these guys tap in. We will be heading over to the 4th hole, which I think may be Krampus's most evil hole on the course. Playing from a temporary tee pad near 8's short basket, backwards along the normal fairway. All the way to 8's tee pad, and then you see a sharp left, and this is where the drone's flying. It's really the only way we could get through here. It's the only way you could walk to the basket, but playing all the way back to Savin's basket. So we'll see if players actually go the exact way the drone flew, or try to go over the top or through the woods. But as you'll see, this hole is evil. Just doesn't seem like the second part at least, a actual fairway. So big challenge for these players. Obviously we saw the scoring started real well. I'm guessing it's going to change after this hole. And honestly, the first shot, it's kind of a normal disc golf shot, and these guys aren't really having much luck with it. You can see that Mando there also coming into play, so you can't go left. There's some space over the woods on that side. You have to go basically back to 8's tee pad and then make a left. Ooh. Strange reaction off of the base of that tree, but kind of lined up with that tee pad. Might have a look to go through. Nice out by Timur. And I think these guys are just trying to make the Mando. Ooh, Ken barely makes the Mando. And try to set themselves up to kind of get through that mess that you just saw. I mean, it is a barcode of trees trying to get through there. The one small walking path that we could barely get the drone through is the cleanest way, but they may be going vertical through it. As we see, that's what Timur seems to be lining up. And kind of gets through. Still have some work to do, but Bo kind of just getting to the mouth over by the tee pad. So Zach did miss the Mando, proceeds to a drop zone. Tries to go vertical and just gets caught up high. Kim looks like he has a backhand. No. Might have had a backhand gap. Either just too tough to get through it or it wasn't able to. And Bo with a nice forehand getting up there. He may be able to, I think that'll be for par on this very challenging hole. Finally we can kind of see a clear line to the basket as Zach goes long and catches that tree, keeping him somewhat close to the basket. Nice little jump putt down the walking path for Ken. Oh. Krampus having its effect on Kim here, trying to get through this treacherous hole. Ooh, and almost ringing it up there. Timur looked like maybe trying to make it from back there, but luckily just getting close enough to probably be able to make it in. Zach from 25 saves the double bogey. So, a little bit of life for everybody else on the card. Bringing Zach back to achievable levels. Good par by Ken. I believe Ken and Bo played the hole fairly well. Not the best tee shots. But I'm really not sure if this hole is birdieable. I'm not sure where you can get to on your first shot that would allow you to get all the way through to the green. We head on to hole 5, which is essentially normal hole 6. And then keep going. Past the basket, and then you see there is technically a tunnel across 5's fairway all the way back to 4's basket. But it is a tunnel if you ever see it, if you've ever seen one. And of course the tent and chair obstacle are still there from the first round. We saw 3 of the players on this card on the first round struggle with this hole, just trying to get to the normal 6's basket. That shot by Bo was absolutely perfect and would have been great on the first round, but he still has a long way to go, and there is a Mando on the right side. These guys have to go around. And another pretty good shot. Really, you just got to get to this green and then try to line yourself up with that tunnel we saw. There's maybe some over-the-top options. They're kind of, like I said, going through across 5's fairway. So kind of 2 tree lines that they'll have to get through after they get to the green of 6. So kind of another evil hole by Krampus here. I think a very tough one to birdie, but again, this is everybody is here, everybody's playing it. You kind of know what your competition is, so yeah, Ken being short, he just made it past the Mando, so he can start proceeding right. Tries to go over the top, doesn't quite get all the way to 5's fairway, so he's still going to have work to do. Kim, forehand, it's going to be right side of the tunnel. It looks like if you're not all the way on the green, the play is to just go up and over. And wow, Zach with the tomahawk. Low, you heard him say it, but able to get all the way back to the end of the tunnel. We'll still have some left. Bochantin has 6's basket in the way, but makes it all the way down the tunnel, and he's going to have a putt for birdie. Wow. I don't think that shot was represented as good as it actually was. That is probably a 200-foot tunnel shot, like I said, through 2 tree lines across another fairway, and he had 6's basket in the way and made it clean almost the entire way. Punched through at the end. Honestly, great shot by Bo. Kim gets most of the way down the tunnel. He'll be on the left side. Ken able to straddle out, but not quite get all the way to the green. Timur trying to go over the top and almost puts it in. Drops it down straight vertical. And almost puts it all in from way far away. Nice little reach out for Zach. He'll have a putt there for his par. Bo on the green for birdie, looking to get a stroke back. 1 stroke closer with 4 holes to play. Oh, nice. Right side catch. Laser spin putt by Ken. Oh. After such a great hole played, just a few chain links right for Bo to miss that birdie. But he won't be losing any strokes to Zach, both with pars, and gaining a couple on the rest of the field. Another tough hole. Very interesting to play. One thing I would recommend is not trying these holes yourself, because you're playing backwards and you'll never know when other players are going to be on the course unless you go up and check. This was actually a tournament setting, so we knew everybody was on the playing field playing the same way. Hole 6 is playing normal hole 5 with the mando to the right, then making a hard left, playing through the woods to 16's elevated basket. So the first 3 holes, pretty soft. These next 3 are definitely more of a challenge. Timur going pretty far. Right side. You want to, honestly, if you get, same as the last hole, if you get to the basket, that's a good spot to be. The basket of the intended hole will be a good spot to be for your approach. But it's going to be pretty tricky. Not a lot of gaps, as we'll see once we get up to approaching the actual basket. Ken pulls it pretty wide, gets a couple of tree kicks, doesn't go too far off the fairway, but that'll be tricky. Again, there is still the mando. Ooh. Oh!
Just barely.
Kim almost acing the correct basket for the hole, but not one we're playing. That's kind of an interesting thing. Ooh. Can hit the mando tree, and depending on which way they play it, he may still have to go around it or just go to the drop zone. Yeah, let me know down in the comments if you'd call that a black ace for Kim if he had made that, or an actual ace, because that is a hole.
Yeah, why not? Roll back.
And as you can see, there's just not much to get through here. Another evil part of a hole given to these players by Krampus.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, just Zach trying to poke a forehand through. He's probably only 120 feet, 150 feet from the basket, but just not able to get there. There is one little walking path right there that the drone flew through. We're going high. Almost. He did get all the way through. So he'll have, I think that will be for his par, a long look at it. But from this side, the basket is a little less accessible, usually playing from the opposite direction. Oh, nice little poke through there by Ken. He'll have a easy tap in from there. Well, not easy. It's pretty, still elevated, but compared to some of these other shots that they're having to throw, a tap in to an elevated basket is comparatively easier. Timur getting through nicely. He will have a look at it. Bo for par, and he nails it. Highlight putt around the tree at the elevated basket. Yeah, take another look at it. Right through those two trees. Didn't even realize that. Split the V. And hit dead center chains. Oh. Zach almost repeating from just a few feet closer.
Nice.
Bo is definitely charging. He's been making some good putts, some great throws. Unfortunately, the last couple holes of scoring is just not it's not getting any closer to Zach. So we will move over to hole 7 is playing from 17's long tee pad and making a tight left, cutting through over to 18's fairway, playing to 18's basket, and same obstacles again from the first round of the OB pools will be in play. So these guys trying to throw a big hyzer, maybe skipping into the gap. That one was a bit wide. It's going to be on the right side. Probably lined up with it, with the kind of a wide walking kind of cut through. That's a little bit long as well. Yeah, so he's going to have a strange angle from there. I think they're really trying to get it shorter than you'd think and left. This is looking, well, it was looking a little better, but it wound up over by where Timur is. And yeah, all these guys are going long. This is obviously a hole that they've never played before, so their distance perception and how far they think they need to go is probably not dialed in. This is looking better. And yeah, little tree in the way, but Ken will be lined right up with it. Bo going over the top. Great shot. Oh, it's rolling right to the basket. Goes a little bit long into the woods, but that was a great shot. Bo doing whatever he can. Kim trying to go Hyzer, just getting to the fairway, catches something late. And Zach getting through, looking like that was going to go right, but wound up maybe caught something and kicked it towards the basket. And Ken going over the top as well. Being out of position, they're just kind of trying to find ways to get over there. Timur going over the top as well, but getting caught up, and that looks thick in there. That's going to be rough getting out. Kim just getting over the pool, and that'll be a par tap in for him. And just stopped short of the pool. Good out for Timur. I think this is Ken for birdie, just right side. Good bid. This is Zach's birdie bid. Bo with maybe the best second shot. Not quite rewarded. Yeah, tough putt there. Landed on a roller angle and went right past the basket. Similar to what happened on hole 3. So, a little bit of a couple comebackers for these guys just to get their pars in. So 2 holes to go. Zach and Bo, 2 strokes apart. These other guys are just battling for their positions. But to find out who defeats Krampus, 2 holes to find out. And over top of this bench that's placed right in front of the tee pad, we're playing from 18's tee pad now, going backwards, playing to 14's short basket. OB road left, and basket tucked to the right. Shouldn't be too difficult of a hole. It is fairly far though. I'd say probably 350, 320, somewhere in that range. And trying to get a late turn because it's pretty straight for pretty long. And there is the OB line right there, so if you cut it too short, you'll be in the OB rough. Definitely a forehand shape if you have the distance. And strange kind of counter skip, kind of kick back for Zach instead of skipping towards the basket, but he's pin high. You can see that bench is actually double stacked, even higher than it was on the drone flyover. Kim finds that OB road, so he'll be over near the long basket for 14. And another kind of dig for that forehand. Krampus playing tricks on the discs. That needs to keep turning, and it looks like it is. Oh, it is fading out now. I think it's going to be safe. Yeah, not in danger of the road, but needed to keep turning all the way. Maybe there's a tailwind here, because the couple backhands that we saw definitely didn't get the turn that I'm sure these players were trying to get. Kim, after the OB stroke, will still have some work to do to save his bogey. Bow for birdie, just outside, a little bit to the right. Timur from similar distance has to put one leg up and catches the cage very close. Getting close to one of these highlight putts. See if Zach can put it in for us. Just a bit right. Another off the cage. Let's see if Ken with the best drive. Oh, and just pulls it. Actually, excuse me, I forgot. This is a par 4, so all of those were for eagle, and that was even for birdie. It spits all the way through the chains. Oh, and Bo needed that one. Getting down to the end, Krampus's grasp is tightening. Wait till you see hole 9. Really could be a big swing either way for all these guys, so it ain't over yet. Zach extends his lead to 3. And we will head over to our final hole of Krampus 4. Playing from a temporary tee pad in front of 14's tee pad. Playing along this path all the way back to 13's basket. Very tight, very technical, and if that wasn't evil enough, both side roughs are out of bounds all the way there. Maybe the shortest par 4 that's ever been played, but that does not mean it'll be the easiest, as we see Zach going out of bounds right off of the tee pad, trying to get all the way there. Shapes for a forehand. Kind of need to flex it a little bit, or maybe a turnover backhand. And yeah, you see, this is just Krampus is going to town on these guys right now. All 3 out of bounds. And this one is, ooh, fortunate kick, and I think that is inbounds. So Ken will actually have a long putt for eagle, maybe able to escape. And beautiful backhand turnover for Kim. Krampus was preoccupied with Zach, Bo, and Timur, allowing Ken and Kim to kind of sneak through unnoticed. And they'll be rewarded. So Zach now further back than the other two. Still basically has to get through the whole thing, and does so pretty nicely. So that'll be for par. Bo with an out-of-bounds stroke, but maybe a chance to throw this in. And maybe happy to just get through, because still the tightest part of the tunnel is the end of it. As you can see, all these low branches, and it kind of hooks right at the end. So little nick, he could wind up with a second OB stroke again. Oh, just nicking a little bit of metal. That was for eagle, and this is an eagle bid for Kim, sneaking it over the rim. Great way to end his tournament. And Zach, one putt away from defeating Krampus. Very fun layout, very challenging, evil at times, eagleable at times. But congratulations to Zachary Tesone, able to take it down over 29 holes. Very unique tournament. Thanks to BS Upshot for putting it on, having us there. Great shot of the round for Bo to do the tunnel shot. You see the results here. Congrats to all these guys. Thanks to our supporting sponsors as well as the Patreon family. We have a few more tournaments coming out in this off season. Fun ones like this, local to the Jersey, Pennsylvania area. So be sure to check them out when they come out. All this off season, give you guys something to watch, give me something to do, and we'll see you on the next hole.